All right. Been pretty bad at documenting this journey back with the bicep, rehabbing that. I've been lifting. I've still been lifting after the first couple of lifting sessions post surgery. My coach Josh recommended that maybe I take the rest of the week off and try to, promote healing and recovery, kind of utilize the body's resources to just make the repairs it needed to make. So I took his advice. He's a smart guy after all. He's a doctor. And then, let's see, a week post-surgery, a little over a week post-surgery, I was able to get in, see my surgeon, put this brace on, and he basically cleared me for movement. Everything is looking good. The wound site was healing up really well. Of course, no lifting with that arm. Be really careful with that, and just really listen to the body, basically. Don't push myself through pain while it's healing. So like I said, I took that week off after Josh advised me to. Saw the surgeon, gave some feedback to Josh, and then he built, my training after that. And so the plan right now, the plan going forward is still utilizing safety squat bar, some combination safety squat bar, transformer bar, and introducing some belt squats to get this lower body done in ways that I train around, not being able to grab a regular barbell, etc. That training is not going to be wild or crazy like you've seen me doing it. It's just squatting, good mornings, leg pressing, and some single leg work. We'll be keeping the single leg work all off season, so I really do think it helps a lot. For upper body, again, I can't lift with this bicep. Really try not to do anything with the arm while this is healing to I don't want to interrupt or stretch out the tendon prematurely. I want it to heal well, heal tight. But I am training the opposite arm. Some single arm stuff. Studies have shown that training the unaffected side, I'm not going to end up like that cartoon or the meme. We got one huge arm and a tiny little spaghetti noodle. There probably will be, there has already been a little bit of atrophy, but there probably will be some. But that'll come back quick once I start lifting with it again. But neurologically, the one working the one side will promote strength on the other side when I do get to come back. So that's what we're doing. Some one arm workout. I really want to show y'all the comeback on this. It's going to be 12 weeks total post surgery, I think. Probably a little bit longer, to be honest. That puts me end of October. I had surgery on July 30th. So all of August, all of September, and all of October going into rehabbing this thing. My surgeon seems to think that, back to sport or back to normal activity for me is going to be probably more than what a normal client of his would, so we'll be playing that by ear. I don't think he's going to go out and say, go ahead and get back to trying to bent over row 400 pounds right off the get after 12 weeks. And I don't think Josh is going to really put that in there either. I've got a whole off season to get this thing back to full strength, and I don't need to risk it. I did ask him about competing in a powerlifting meet, which is mid-November or early November. And smart thing, no reason. It's not worth it to push myself right there. I will be likely trying to switch all my deadlifts to either hook grip or use straps for the foreseeable future. Protect that bicep, because my left hand is my supinated part of my mixed grip, and I don't think I want to stress it for a long time. So besides not being able to lift in the normal way that I lift, another major change in my life as a result of the injury is how what I do at work. Normally I can be a lot more active at work if I want to be. I can get out, walk around, do things throughout the day. Have a small little gym at work as well that I can go out and get some stuff done. But because now I'm officially on light duty, I sit a lot. Just the ergonomics of the workstation has me sitting a lot. I mean, I try to stand up and pace around in a tiny small area that's about 10 by 8, but I just end up sitting, staring at computer monitors and clicking a mouse pretty much all day. So with that, there's just being more sedentary, burning less calories in the day, kind of going stir crazy, losing my mind, but just not able to move around. I try to do my best, but it's not the most motivating environment to do little PT stuff. I got to get better at that. I've got the ability to do that in there. Or at least there's some logistics that can help with that, but I have to make up for it. There's a lot of stuff that I do in a regular day, not injured, that kind of has my body ready for just everything all the time. And just you take for granted what just walking around and walking upstairs and stuff does for you. Kind of keeps the body prepared. Motion is lotion, and it's not until you're sitting on your ass for 12 hours a day that you realize little things start to pop up. Last week I was dealing with a pretty significant pinch, it felt like, in my SI joint. After 3 consecutive days, mostly sitting, right side SI joint was very angry with me, and it took a couple of 3 days to get back. And then, this past weekend, I was an MC for Highland Games here in Alaska, and that just had me up moving around all day, walking around through a field. Had a great time doing it. Really enjoyed being MC, being able to be a part of it at Highland Games still with the injury. Cheering on my people, offering tips along the way, heckling them, talking shit on a mic. Comes natural to me, and I just had a hell of a time. But I tell you what, after, at that point, about a month of a lot of sedentary lifestyle, I was smoked. My legs, my ankles, my low back, they were toast. I was legitimately sore the next couple of days just from walking around. So I gotta stop that shit. I gotta do better. I gotta find a way. So that'll all be part of this plan, is to not turn into a pile of puke. Get the movement, keep the body ready. I am able to I'm taking it easy, really listening to the body. If I feel a pull or a stretch in an area on the bicep that I don't like, I'm gonna, obviously stop. I'm not trying to grip and move at the same time. I'm trying to utilize the brace to be, the anchor point for a lot of this. Again, just so I don't, my shoulder has been the most sore, I think. I expect the bicep, I expect where the surgery was, where they drilled through the bone to be hot. I even expect a little bit of the elbow soreness, not the elbow here, but the elbow here. I expect a little bit of that just because I'm not moving that joint. Shoulder, man, my shoulder's been rough. So I got to combat that. So again, trying to find ways to include these movement exercises, these these pulls to keep the shoulder in the upper back, the trapping and the rhomboid and everything, just kind of moving and strong, so that when I do come back, it's just get back to work, you know? Along with having Josh as my coach and him with being a doctor of physical therapy, I have a couple other friends that are also doctors, and I have a few friends that have recently suffered the same injury as me. And so it's been kind of cool, bad for them, but cool for me to kind of peel their brains and figure out, you know, what were they doing, what was good for them, what advice were they given, and then try to see if I can implement that in mine, run it by the smart people. Hey, is this a good idea? And try to, you know, make the most of this. I also recently found out that World's Strongest Man competitor Lucas Hatton tore his left bicep recently as well. I think a month before me, maybe, or right around the same time. And go watch his journey. Hatton Strength is his YouTube channel, and just watching him is inspiring and motivating, because he's way bigger, way stronger, and seeing him in the gym kind of doing a little bit of the same stuff that I'm doing is reassuring. The mentality, the approach. He's very smart. I don't know if you don't know who he is, you haven't watched him, he's got a real methodical approach to everything. And I like the stuff that he's putting out, because I like to think that I approach my training the same way, really thinking about the effects of stuff. So I've been watching him as well. It's been eye-opening a little bit. It's interesting because he is at the top of the strongman game in the world, and he isn't a total meathead. I mean, he obviously is a meathead, and there's nothing wrong with that, but he is listening to his profession, his doctors, about what to do, how to take this recovery, the physical therapy and everything, but also while implementing what his coach has him doing. And that's kind of where I'm at, right? I got my first physical therapy appointment today. We're gonna see what that entails. I don't really know what they're gonna do. Doctor says I can't lift, and I think they have to listen to the surgeon on that, so I don't think we're gonna be doing any curls or anything, but maybe some range of motion, pushing the range of motion a little bit, maybe probably some grip stuff. I really hope they massage my shoulder, because I know it sounds like I'm being a bitch about it, but it is just achy. Everything around this connected to the shoulder. I think it just needs to be rubbed on a little bit. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. So with this hand, I try to keep it pretty normal. Doing these rows with the grip of the hand. Try to keep that relatively normal. Again, this is all light. And then this hand, because I don't want to grip, because I think that'll activate the bicep, we'll have that overflow. I got this neat little notch in the brace. So I just I put the band into that little notch to hold it, keep my grip open, keep my hand open, and just row the best I can. It's a little goofy, a little hokey, but it is getting the work done. You can feel it kind of lighten up the trap a little bit. And then if I pull in, kind of keep my arm more to the side, shifts that a little bit. So really trying to focus on retracting the scapula, work the rhomboid, do the best I can with it. Of course, I'm not just working upper body stuff. Like I said, I've been squatting, and that's been some of the most productive work I've been doing. I feel like I get the most out of it. But I have to overcome all this sitting I'm doing. So the work that I have to do, especially on my posterior chain, my glutes, and hips, that's an everyday thing almost. So I can only do so much, you know, only having 2 lower body sessions a week. Those 2 hour and a half blocks of training aren't going to overcome, you know, 12 hours straight of sitting day after day. And again, I'm not sitting for 12 hours. I'm being a little dramatic about that, but I'm sitting for a good portion of 12 hours. It's just not, again, my workstation's not conducive to getting up and moving around a lot. I gotta be pretty well fixed to a screen. So, get in here, keep that posterior chain active, keep my hips stretched out, try not to lose any mobility there, and just keep grinding. Rotational stuff too, you know, because I'm favoring my left side a lot, so I'm not rotating a lot. I gotta find ways to rotate, get some rotational training in here. Keep that going. Another thing I'm doing during this recovery is trying to pay attention to my nutrition. For a previous injury, I had reached out to fellow pro thrower Marissa Handy. She's a nutritionist or dietitian. I'm sorry, Marissa, if I get that wrong, what your exact job or profession is. And she, you know, she has some great input into what I should be fueling my body with for recovery and repair. Things like make sure you're taking zinc and vitamin C and fish oil and things like that, you know. Make sure I get my protein in, all those building blocks that you need for recovery. I've been trying to make sure, take those in daily. This is gonna get tricky. See how this feels. Yeah, a little sporty. So yeah, I've been making sure I get those nutrients in, so as to not turn into a fat ass in all this sedentary time I've been having. I've decided to really lock in a little bit on my diet, track my calories a little better. I'm not weighing food. You know, it's not like I'm prepping for a bodybuilding show or anything like that, but get a pretty damn good general idea of how many calories, what the macronutrient breakdown daily is. And so, trying to get about 3,700 calories, roughly 300 of that being protein, 300 grams of protein. Keep my carbs relatively high, and then finish off with like 100 grams of fat a day. Some days I don't even get that. I don't even get that much food in because I'm just being a slug. So, like I said, trying to hit 3,700 calories, usually hitting about 3,400 to 3,500 maybe. As a result, the first week I lost 4 pounds, which is quite a bit, at least twice as fast as what I wanted to have a good sustainable weight loss. And so I kind of hammered down a little bit more this last week to try to force in more food, except for the past couple days, slouched again. But overall, in 2 weeks, I'm down 6 pounds. I don't know where the goal is. I mean, the ultimate goal is to not be a disgusting piece of shit when I'm all done recovering. I kind of halfway think, like in my brain, the arbitrary number I selected was get down to about 275. So I'm about 14, 15 pounds away now. I weighed in this morning at a little under 290. And yeah, 275, that's kind of the mark. I don't know. If I keep pushing through the winter, I mean, it won't be, if I maintain that 2 pounds a week average of weight loss, it's only going to take me another 7 weeks to get down to 275. If I continue through the winter, through the off season, at the rate of 1 pound to 2 pounds a week, you might see me skinnier than Justin Blatnick out there. Probably not though. Frankly, that is depressing. I don't want to be that skinny. I think 270, 275 is a good weight. I'm going to have to figure that out when it comes back to throwing. Is can I control the 56 at that lighter body weight? Sure, yeah, there are plenty of athletes, really good athletes, Nick Aston, Justin Blatnick, and Vlad and Graham, and man, there's some really good athletes that do perfectly fine at those little body weights, those 250, 250 pound range. I don't claim to be as athletic as those guys, so I don't know that I can. But well, hey, I'll try. And if I need to run my weight back up for the season, I will. But we'll see. We'll see where this lands me. Sex appeal will save the Highland Games. All right, I gotta get after it now. Spent a lot of time goofing off here. This is today's workout. Let's see, zoom in on that. Everything's relatively high volume. 4 sets of 10, single arm DB bench. Then I'll do 3 sets of 10 of the single arm lat pull down. 3 sets of 10 of single arm Z press, 3 sets of 10 of single arm DB row, and then I'm going to do single arm overhead carry. I'll do 3 trips down and back in the gym here. First set, we're going to do 80 pounds. I think it'd be pretty easy. Yeah. You know, I like to look at the positive side of things, even when there's bad things happening. You know, try to be a realistic, a practical optimist with most things in life. And, you know, I try to keep a good head on my shoulders because it ain't going to serve me anything good to be all depressed about the injury. Like I said way up at the beginning, it's the cost of doing business. You know, you use your pencil, it's going to get dull, and you have to resharpen it sometimes. So, that being said, I am fortunate that this did happen on my left arm and not my right arm. My you know, the main source of my power for the throws is my right side, and I would hate to have to try to think about what it would be like to try to throw a 56 thinking about a bicep and is it good, is the repair good, or whatever. I can still do these single arm presses and get good work out of the right side, which is gonna be super helpful when I start throwing again. The single arm stuff also helps me develop some of that anti-rotation, which you need as a thrower. You gotta be able to stop rotation in order to to deliver the power from all that speed that you developed and all that speed that you built through the movement. You gotta be able to stop that. And so that anti-rotation that's built up through single arm stuff is going to be helpful. All right, we're going to jump right to the hundos. Looking at Josh has this program to be an RPE of first 2 sets are supposed to be a 5 and the last 2 sets are supposed to be a 6. That basically means not too much exertion. And knowing Josh, I didn't ask him about this, but he's really trying to help protect it. Like, you know, anytime you have that you're pushing really hard on one side, you can potentially overflow into that other side with as much as 20% of the force on the side you're pushing with. And so I think he's really just trying to protect me from doing that. With this weight, at this rep range, I'm cognizant, I'm thinking about this. You may see me every once in a while wiggle my fingers, and that's just to remind myself to loosen up, just kind of don't tense the bicep. So I could do more than the hundreds. I only have 120 pound, I only go up to 120 pound dumbbells here, but I could do more than the hundreds. I'm positive of that. I could probably do the 120s for 10 pretty easy. But again, I'm gonna stick in that prescribed RPE range. Pro tip, if you got a lat tower kind of like this, just like a single station, doesn't pivot up at the top, and you want to get a little offset so you can do that single arm work, set yourself a little box off to the side. Makes the whole exercise smoother. I feel like it engages the lats better as well, if that makes any sense. Rock the Z presses with the little circus dumbbell, because I'm not super light, 50 pounds. I really suck in this position. I don't know what I need to mobilize more, hips or legs or something, I don't know. Hey! But it's tough. Probably a T-spine thing. A lot of things, a lot of bad movement in my life can be attributed to the shitty T-spine mobility, rotationally and extensionally, if that's a word. I might have to cut some stuff out, maybe come back later and do this, because time is getting away from me. You ever come in a gym and you're alone and you just fucking lollygag? Because I definitely do. Should have left the house earlier. I know what I'll do. I'll just try to superset a little bit. All right, last set. If I'm being honest, this might be a little too light, but whatever. Heavy's not the goal right now. Keep this mission first. Mission is to get better. overhead carries are nice for really just bracing. And again, some anti-rotation because it is on one side, but really just working that shoulder in an active position helps a little bit. Shoulder health. And they're hard. I mean, this is only 70 pounds. Wait, not even that. 62 pounds. Ain't nothing, but yeah. I guess it's kind of like waiter carrying, what, 8 gallons of milk. So there's that, 9 gallons of milk. So maybe it is heavy. Yeah. Need to know my worth. When the world champ releases information or tips, you got to try those tips out. You're doing yourself a disservice if a guy like John Van Buren gives you a suggestion and you don't give it a try. So in the category of do shit that I can, one-arm winds are going to be the thing. I've said for years, winding during the off season or winding throughout the week is going to make you a better hammer thrower, without a doubt. The first time I realized that, I think it was, I went to the 2022 Northeast Florida Highland Games, one of the first big games that I traveled for, and it's early. Northeast Florida happens in February. As an Alaskan thrower, I don't get outside to throw until usually April. And so it had been since October the year before that I had been able to throw anything. But I kept my winds going all year long in the gym here, minimum of 3 times a week. Sets of 10, sets of 8, sets of 12, whatever it was, and I wind both ways. And I was able to get out on that field, and at the time, my light hammer numbers were somewhere around the 110 foot, my heavy hammer was somewhere around the 90 foot mark. And I was able to go into Northeast Florida and on my season opener, having not thrown, basically middle of my off season, I was able to throw, I think, 94 and 108. At the time, you know, great numbers for me at the time, but not great numbers for now. Just saying, at where I was then, to be able to just go and get numbers with no drop off from the off season felt really good. And I attest that to being active with the winding, always. It's not going to do anything bad for you. Hammer winds are probably something, even if you're not a Highland Games thrower, if you're a powerlifter watching this, or strongman, or whatever, rugby player watching this, hammer winds with something that's reasonable like a Scottish hammer are just good for overall body health. It's good for the core, the back, rotation stuff, shoulders, the whole deal. So it's not going to do anything bad for you. And if you're a Highland Games thrower, it's going to make you better. So again, watch John Van Buren's most recent video where he explains what he's thinking with the drill and feeling, because that's really what it is. It's just feeling. It's nothing. It's not like you're actually throwing anything, but just feeling what your hips are doing and what does it take to get your body out of the way so you can rotate that hammer with as little resistance against it as possible. So anyway, that's me. That's signing off for the day. I'm gonna go to my physical therapy right now, see what they have in store for me on this side, see what we can do. Appreciate y'all. I know this is a much longer video than I normally make, but I appreciate y'all sticking with it if you did. Hopefully y'all can follow me on the journey. I think I'll do more of these longer videos, especially after talking to a few people. Watching Lucas Hatton, 20+ minute videos is not out of the question. Let me know what you think. If you do like these longer videos, smash the like button, hit me with the comment. If you want me to answer questions, or if you have some advice for me because you've torn a muscle, you've torn a tendon, whatever, you want to give me some advice, I am all ears for that. So, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch y'all at the next one. Later.